Master Your Emotions by Thibaut Meurisse. Emotions come and go, and they can be unpredictable in nature. Let them pass without commentary. Emotions are not bad, and negative emotions can serve as a guide. Understand that emotions are not you. They are simply an experience that is passing through your body. The goal of emotions is to overtake you, but when you know how to handle these emotions, it comes easier. One of the biggest challenges that people face is that they don't allow their emotions to just be. Many people try to stuff them away down into their hearts and they don't address them, and they even get mad at themselves for feeling that way. But again, we must remember that we are not our emotions. And more damage and more pain can be felt when we try to push down our emotions rather than just letting them be. Strong emotions are created by this formula: the interpretation and the identification plus the repetition equals a strong emotion. So an interpretation, that is when you interpret a thought/event based on your personal story. Identification, you identify with the specific thought as it rises. Repetition is when you have repeated thoughts about this certain event or your interpretation of it. In order to change our emotions, we must change the way that we begin to see things. Understand that we each have an interpretation and we tell ourselves a certain story regarding something, which causes thoughts to come in, and it's the story and the thoughts together that we repeat to ourselves. So, in order to identify why a strong emotion is occurring, we need to first identify the events that happened and what thoughts arose. Second, how did you respond to these thoughts? Third, did you identify with it repeatedly? So overall, emotions show you that you are viewing situations through a bias, and the way that you interpret something is not the same way that other people interpret that thing. So, try to change your perspective. Try to see different perspectives to try to change the story you tell yourself. A shift in perspective may just be the thing that you need. Maybe instead of complaining about our problems or worrying about our problems, we can see them as an opportunity. They are here for a reason, and if we didn't have problems then, or challenges, then how would we grow? Studies show that exercising can treat mild to moderate depression as effectively as antidepressants. Focus on how you speak to yourself. Instead of saying, "I'm not shy," begin to say, "I am confident." Focus on the thoughts that you tell yourself. Your thoughts define who you are. Focus on where you want to go. When you lack confidence, you will use words like, "I'll try," "I hope," "I wish," "perhaps," "if everything goes well, I should." But now, shift into speaking with confidence, "I will," using the words "absolutely," "I will certainly," "no doubt." The book states that breathing affects emotions and that many do not know how to breathe properly, and there are many videos on YouTube that can show you how to properly breathe. Music. Music can help elicit emotions. They can help you relax when you're tired, boost your mood when you're going to the gym, or decrease anxiety and depression. So use music, and use all these other different tools. Also, sleep deprivation. Make sure to get in your sleep because sleep can affect your emotions. And the book states if you're having trouble sleeping, try these things. Sleep in a pitch black room. Avoid using electronic devices. Use blue light glasses. Listen to soothing music. Do not drink too much water as you might have to wake up in the middle of the night and use the bathroom. Studies also found that posture can have a big impact on your emotions. Studies show that when one fixed their posture, testosterone was increased by 25%, cortisol, which is correlated to stress, was reduced by 10%. Now here's an exercise for collecting your emotions and being able to oversee them. Use emotional notebook for 1 week. Describe how you feel, what negative emotions you feel, how they were caused, the hard facts without the biased view of what happened. Did you have thoughts or internal events that triggered you? Did you lack sleep? Were you sick? Did you get in an accident? Number 6, what really happened and not based off of your interpretation again? And how did you return to that neutral state? Now here are the 6 pillars of self-esteem. Number 1, living consciously, which means being aware. Number 2, self-acceptance, which means you value yourself and you respect yourself. Number 3, self-responsibility. You're responsible for your actions. Number 5, living purposefully. And number 6, personal integrity. Here's an exercise. Write down your accomplishments. At the end of each day, write what you accomplished, whether it's 5 to 10. And they can be small, they don't have to be big accomplishments. When you feel the need to get defensive, there are 3 main reasons why you get triggered. The first one, part of the truth is in what you are being told. Number 2, you believe there's part of truth in what you're told, which means you are told something that you believe is true due to perception. So it may not even be true, but because you perceive it to be true, you feel triggered. And the first one means that there is some truth in that, and you accept that and you see that. Number 3, a core belief that you have has been attacked, whether it's related to religion or politics, etc. So here's how to use that to grow. Ask yourself, what am I trying to protect myself from? Look at what triggers you. Ask yourself why and what belief led you to defend yourself. Can you let go of this belief? And ask yourself if this belief is really true. Now, when you begin to stress, there needs to be a separation of what you can and cannot control. For example, some things you do have control over. Begin to separate what you can control, what you have some control over, and what you have no control over. Then, begin to write about what you worry about and see if you can differentiate Then, begin to write down what you worry about and see if you can differentiate them between what you have control over, what you don't have control over, and what you somewhat have control over. Recall not to fall into the trick of, I'll be happier when I do this or get that. There was a study done. I had to move locations as my camera cut out. There was a study done in 1978, and it discussed how winning the lottery / becoming a paraplegic influences happiness. Now, if you worry or care a lot about what other people think about you, write about what you're scared to be judged on and why you care. What image are you trying to protect? And remember, this is key, people perceive what you do and say based on their perception. So if you're someone that doesn't like to be, let's say, misinterpreted or likes to be seen a certain way, just know that no matter how hard you try, at the end of the day, you will be perceived based on people's values and their own perceptions. So in this life, the best thing you can do is be the best you for yourself, and not for other people. An exercise that you can do is to think about how often somebody else with all their problems thinks about you. And now in turn, you can think about how often you think about them. And you'll really see that we all focus on ourselves and our own issues, which will ultimately free you. Now, with resentment, there's an opportunity to learn how to let go. So when you feel resentment, speaking about it or writing a letter to someone that is causing you to feel that way is important. You can also reevaluate your interpretation and forgive. Recall that resentment can often happen because we don't express our feelings right when we feel them. We may keep them stuffed down and not speak about them to the person it involves, and for that reason it can begin to turn into resentment. It starts off as a simple emotion, maybe anger, sadness, but it can grow to resentment. So speaking about it and changing our interpretation if possible. Now, jealousy. A lot of people shy away from jealousy, but jealousy can be used for your advantage. Jealousy is when you desire something that you perceive that you don't have, and you believe it'll fulfill you. Through jealousy or those feelings, those icky feelings, you can see what it is that you truly desire. For example, if you did an exercise of someone that you were jealous of, you can examine what it says about you and what you want from life. And there's a false belief going around that success is limited. It's important to understand that there is not limited success. And when you are around people that are already at that level of success, then they can help you. It doesn't necessarily need to be a competition. And there's a quote that the author quotes, and it goes something like this: you can get everything that you want as long as you help others get what they want. Now, for comparison, a lot of the times we unfairly compare ourselves with others, and we all start off with different circumstances and skills. So whenever you compare yourself to yourself. Compare yourself to the version that you were in the past. If you tell yourself words such as "it's hopeless" or "there's no hope," you can create an even deeper hole for yourself. So be careful with your words. The book describes a man named David Reynolds who explains how his depression was caused by the way he carried himself and just negative thoughts and the looping and the repetition. David K. states, "In the deepest depression, there are ripples and waves of somewhat lighter moods. Take those moments to take actions you find beneficial at the time. Remember that life begins when you step out of your comfort zone." The comfort zone can explain why we have the same routine or thoughts, and why when we try to change, we feel extremely uncomfortable. Remember to move out of your comfort zone. Just act. Without fear, there's no courage. So do it even if you're scared. Exercise. What's one thing I should be doing but fear holds me back? Now for procrastination. There are many different reasons why we may procrastinate. One of them being we find the task boring, too challenging, or we may just be habitually lazy. However, there could also be fear in doing a poor job. But when you take these expectations off of yourself, it's easier to move. Now, here's a list of 13 steps to dismantle procrastination. Number 1 is understand the why you're doing it. Number 2, remind yourself of the cost that comes with these tasks. Number 2, remind yourself of the cost. Number 3, uncover the story that you are telling yourself. Number 4, begin to rewrite that story. Number 5, clarify your why. Number 6, look at what your distractions are. Number 7, stay with the urge and don't judge yourself. Number 9, set a clear intent behind everything you do. Number 10, prepare your environment. Make it as easy as possible. Number 11, start as small as possible, whether it's 5 minutes or even writing a page, whatever it is in your circumstance. Number 12, create quick wins. Number 13, just get started. Number 14, create daily habits to support you. Number 15, visualization. Number 16, build accountability. Lastly, vision. A lack of motivation can be caused by a lack of vision. Perhaps you lack enthusiasm, which shows that you may not be doing what you're supposed to do. With a strong why, who knows what you can accomplish? And remember to add that with self-compassion and love. You never know how far you can go, but know that you are stronger than you think and smarter than you believe, and that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. Thank you.